Good morning. The topic is relational difficulties. I mean, who does not have difficulties with relationships, right? Uh, every person I can imagine, I will have some or the other level or degree of relationship difficulties. Somewhere we don't align, some we don't accept, some we hate. So there is a huge range over there, and typically all of these difficulties are attributed in the way my thinking, my feeling, and my willing are in harmony with each other. Meaning, my head is a faculty, or my brain is a faculty, or my nervous system or nerve sense system is a faculty that is able to see or receive stimulus from the sense world and interpret it. If I'm feeling too cold right now, I start hating the environment because I cannot go for a walk. And if I see somebody shouting at someone else, then I already form an opinion about that person, not understanding, not respecting, whatever it is based on my experience. And then my feeling is the rhythmic system, the heart system, where I'm able to receive and also connect with people, the receive love and compassion. It is my ability to empathize with another person, understand their emotional situations and emotional difficulties or any dysfunctionality they're coming from. It's my ability to understand. And then the willing, the third faculty, which is typically my limbs and my gut feeling. My Steiner calls it metabolic limb system, which is more like the one that takes action. Now I see somebody shouting, then I think, rather than making that opinion that that person is loud and they're taking advantage of the person who is weak, I observe. Then I try to understand the person who is shouting and person who is being shouted at, both, and try to analyze or even try to empathize, not even analyze. Analyze is head level. Empathize why that person may have gotten angry, what may have triggered the anger, why is that person not able to manage their anger. I don't have to do anything. I'm only empathizing with that other person who's gotten angry for a good reason, bad reason. We don't get into that part. Am I able to empathize and make that emotional connect with that other person? Ability to do that is the feeling. Only when I can think or feel why that person is doing that, maybe there is a reason for the person to be doing that way, then will I reduce my need to judge, my need to label that other person. Half the problem solved right there. So once I'm able to relate to that other person, maybe go back to my own memory and think about, when did I get angry unreasonably, and then how I felt bad about shouting at that other person, maybe much later. And then kind of associating my experience with what the other person may be going through right now, and then go into the willing stage where it is metabolic limb system, where I will do something about it. Maybe I'll step a little forward and hold the person who is shouting or who is shouted at. Maybe, some kind of a cooperation. Maybe can we talk? I mean, is it something serious? Can we resolve this by talking? That ability to take action is the willing. Now, when any incident happens, am I having my thoughts very clear? Am I feeling right? And am in favor of bringing in the resolution? And am I willing to take some steps to resolve it, to help resolve it, to mitigate it, to reduce the tension right now? Maybe bring in another person, maybe separate the two people up, whatever at that point seems reasonable. If I am able to do, then many of the relational problems that I may have will reduce a bit. Or at least I will not get that intentionally angry when someone does not conform or someone goes overboard. So these are the steps that I need to check. Is my thinking, is my feeling, is my willing harmonized? Are they balanced or are they out of balance? I mean, you can take any difficulty any two people have in any kind of a relationship, professional, personal, maybe acquaintance. Sometimes it is that you just look at a person and you just don't want to be anywhere closer to them. So it is that vibe they give off, or the hypersensitivity that I have towards such an attitude. I keep the distance. Could be any of it. And let's say two people, person A, person B. Person A, all of us would be that person, both, right? Let's take that one person. Let's take it just me only. I might be 58. That does not mean my thinking, my feeling, my willing are in harmony. I may be putting efforts, I may be deliberately working on it. But to say that they're in harmony at every event, at every moment in my life, is a long drawn expectation. So let's assume I'm this average person who's not putting any effort, who just has been brought up by beliefs and conditionings, and I am hypersensitive. My thoughts, the minute you challenge anything that I say, I'm hurt, I'd withdraw. I may even make nasty comments, just that nervous system. The nerve sense system reacts instantly. So you tell me that your idea is not a great one because it does not bring all of them together. And I'm like instantly jammed. And let's say I am the boss and I feel challenged. I'm hurt. How come my ideas are not accepted? Then I react. Because nerve sense system is that. And I see a mosquito coming towards me and my hand goes to swat. There's a mad dog running at me. It tells my limbs to run. I mean, that's what nerve system is. I instantly snap and withdraw and use my power to suppress you, say something back to you, whatever. The minute I say something, your nervous system wakes up. And you are also an average majority of us who is not really understanding about this thinking, balancing with feeling and willing, and you react. You say, just because you are the boss, you couldn't be sabotaging us. You cannot run the show. You have to have our cooperation, without which, that's when the governments, will topple off their leader. We make all kinds of plans to get rid of somebody from that position. Because I'm the only one boss, my team is 10, 20, 30, 40 people, right? And the issue was not the incident. The issue is my nervous system out of balance. I've lost my ability to understand others, why they may be saying so. This can be easily resolved by sitting down and talking out, but we don't do that. Comes into the feeling stage. I'm still in a very reactionary mode. I want to prove you wrong, and both parties are like that. Both are hurt, both are sensitive, both are reactive. Now, feeling is out of the window, empathy is out of the window. I do not want to make any emotional connect. I do not want to understand your background. Of course, we won't want to share every background of mine. I'm afraid that you'll make fun of me, I'll be talked about, whatnot. So we safeguard it. We are so afraid, we are very fragile, we don't want to let go of those, we hold them dearly inside. And when the feeling is not there, then the will to cooperate, the will to sit out and talk it out. Let's say, okay, there are your problems, there are my problems. Let's look for the benefit of the organization. What best can we do? Where did I misunderstand you? Where did I overreact? All that is a threat to individuality. That identity that I hold of myself, no matter who I am. I mean, as a boss, I have this additional fear. But as a team member, I also have that fear because somewhere I know these patterns have repeated in my life before. And somewhere deep down, I know that I may be not right also. I may have made mistakes as well. So there is no effort put to bring this feeling realm that regulates my head, my thinking, and my actions. Lot of work needs to be done in the feeling realm, in this rhythmic system, where I begin to see the rhythms of my life, my day. If I can assert as a boss, I mean, let's say I'm the owner of the company, I can hold fast to this position, to my belief system, and say anyone opposing me is out. I could do that. I could very well do that. But what's the guarantee that next person who comes in who will help me run my show is of any better maturity? These days, that most of these companies are doing behavioral interviews. I mean, they don't look at my resume. Resumes, what resume tells me is the head level. I have this degree, I have these many years of experience, etc. That's my nerve sense system, the nervous system, right? Where I have put some effort, I've read it, I've understood it, I've omitted it, I've scored so and so. That's all it says. Doesn't say what I'm capable of doing. My experience may talk about it, that I have led a team of 50 people, I've worked in an institution for 10 years, despite all the problems. It tells my ability to stick through and work, but it does not tell how did I deal with people, how did I resolve solution, was it brute force, was it through talk, was it through understanding, have I grown in the process, have I become a better version of myself? Doesn't say anything about it. So most of the interviews are based on that. There was one simple reel that I saw. She goes for an interview, and this is something her father has taught her, to turn off the lights, to fix things, to not throw things around, whatever feeling, connection. That turning off lights could be save money from my pocket, but it's also conservation of energy, right? Being aware that I need to conserve energy. So, as someone who is habituated to turning off the lights, not as a habit, but as a thought of conserving energy, will also conserve the water, will also conserve recycling, reusing, all of that. So the interview, it is set up with a CC camera in the waiting room, in the bathrooms, in the hallways, and they have deliberately thrown some pots around, some papers around, some lights are running, fans are running, whatever, whatever. And this girl is waiting in the waiting room, and she sees that there are unnecessarily multiple lights, so she'll go turn it off, she'll turn off the fan, whatever. She walks into the interview hall and the boss says you're hired. So of course there are a lot of such things happening these days because people want empathy, people want understanding employees, people want not problems to exist. People want problems because that's the only way we grow, but also the ability to resolve those problems. Now, how many of us have developed it? Right. And this is something that we teach children in the second stage of child development, from 14, so from 7 till about 14 years of age. That is when their feeling life is getting molded, is developing. That is where you can frame it with values. It is not about how great ideas that I have. My thinking could be supremely great. But if my attitude is rotten, I could be the only one who can speak this language in the school or an office or a setup, and I'm the only one who can deliver the results in such a way. If I carry arrogance with me, then I might not be standing there for very long. There's a beautiful discussion that in a book we are reading right now. If any of you are part of that text study that happens on Wednesdays, Gudrun Bukhar, she talks about being genius is not great if you're arrogant. It's better that I be dumb and know that I'm dumb and I'm working on it, building up my skills. Genius, we could be born with skills, but then I will lose it over time as I grow if I do not maintain it or develop it or continually work on it. It's like maintenance. So we lose it if we don't use it well. So carrying that air about myself that I have so many years of experience, I'm the only one who does things very well here, I'm the one who they cannot live with. Those are all past stories because I want to work with a person who understands me, who is willing to solve, who is willing to resolve. Even if they're little dumb, it's okay because there is essential ingredient to build the other skills on top of it. Feeling level is the essential realm for a human being. If I'm devoid of feeling, be assured that one or the other day I shall not be happy. And even now, I'm not happy. I think I'm asserting my way. I think I'm marching forward. I'm putting forth my ideas. Most of the activists, are like that. They fight for one flaw in a society, but then sometimes they go too far into it. you know that exists in a society because somewhere it is balancing somebody else, and typically you will see activists, they stand for one value. There's another opposite party who is vehemently opposing it. That's typically because life is not about one-sidedness. Life is about balance. With one-sidedness I can rise to a certain extent, but then I either stagnate or I fall. So understanding, supporting, cooperating, love, compassion, why the person may be doing this in this way. And another thing is, if I did something wrong, then you will label me that I will do the same thing for the rest of my life. I'll keep repeating it. You will never even have a faith that I might be evolving. And this typically happens with children. Maybe they steal, they don't know it is stealing, but they take money from your pocket a few times. We label them as thief. Then we'll say, keep an eye on him, keep an eye on him. Where did you get that money from? Did you steal from somebody? And we make the child go back and steal again because we have told them so many times. Devoid of feeling. Why did the child steal? What was the need for the child to steal? What did he do with the stolen money? That happens only when I've developed my feeling realm, when I've developed my rhythmic system, right? So this is something I would want you to explore. Any relational difficulties that we have, it's typically the imbalance in these three faculties: thinking, feeling, and willing. Thinking without feeling or willing is lunatics. You have great ideas, you are arrogant, you think you are the smartest, but put to work, you can't do anything. You could be a great feeler, very emotional, very connecting, all of that, But then you break down, your son doesn't return home on time, you think, oh, he must have died in an accident, and you start crying down. You lose your ability to think logically, and even like call somebody and find out what's happening. That willingness is also lost when feeling also is the only dominant force. I mean, even that is not great. And then I keep doing, willing, keep working, keep working, keep working like a laborer. I can work for my entire life, but not really make great progress in my new idea generation or connecting with people. One of these being dominant is not going to help. They have to be in balance. We may not develop all of that at the same time. In child development, we talk about first stage, until age 7, we work on the will element. We make children do, move, push, pull, lift, do all of those. In the second stage, we work with their emotional realm, feel for it, observe the nature, go out and see how ants build their homes. So we have some concern when we destroy their homes and things like that. Only in the third level, from 14 and above, is where we give them some rational debates and questions where they can develop their thinking. But overall, all three coexist. It is not that in the first stage, thinking and feeling is not there, and in the third stage, willing and feeling is not there. All of them are there, but one of them is given priority to develop, to mold, to refine. So, as a human being, I have them in balance. I know when to use what. There is a situation, I'm not really angry, but if I don't appear to be angry, I might be taken advantage of. So I pretend being angry, and then I revert. People who have gotten mastery over this, they will turn to one person, be very angry, yell at them, shout at them, be like so intense, turn around and start laughing and smiling and talking to another person as though nothing happened. It's like split personality, two different personalities. They can switch because they don't become anger. So it's not that their body, adrenaline is released and you're all up there trying to expand it. They are only pretending. They're not pretending, but very consciously using their abilities, and they're able to move back and forth between the three realms. And that's the beauty. And if I develop that harmony in my life between thinking, feeling, and willing, will I be able to lead a successful life, a happy life, a joyful life? Good luck.